So with sex-linked inheritance, when we are doing genetics crosses, we've also got to show which chromosome, i.e. the X or the Y, that the allele is attached to, because in most cases we're looking at males and females, and therefore we need to be able to identify the offspring as either male or female. But the pattern's essentially the same. We start with parents. So in this cross, we are going to have a look at red-green colour blindness. So we are going to have N being for normal vision, because that's the dominant allele, and small n is going to represent our red-green colour-blind allele. So our parents are going to obviously be one male and one female. In this instance, our female is going to be normal. So she's X and a small n up here, X and a small n. She's homozygous for normal vision. And we're going to cross her with a male who is colourblind. So that's going to be X and a small n up there, and then a Y. So the same principle as before, we need to work out what the gametes are going to be. So for this female here, in terms of our gametes, all of our gametes are going to be X big N. And for our male, half of the alleles are going to be X small n, and the other half are going to be Y. Remember, the Y allele is, the Y chromosome, is shorter, and therefore we have a section that doesn't have chromosomes to offer a partnership to the section on the X. So that gives us our gametes, and we can use the same principle as before. We can do our Punnett square to work out what they are going to be. So my female gametes are all going to be X big N, and half of my male gametes are going to be X small n, and the other half are going to be Y. Now I haven't bothered putting another X and a big N down here because it's going to just give me a repeat line. So this one shows that all of my females are going to be X big N, X small n. So my females are going to have normal vision because they've got one copy of the dominant allele, but they are carriers of the red-green colour blindness gene. And then my males are going to be X big N, Y, which is meaning that my males are going to have normal vision. Okay, let's have a look then at a slightly different outcome. So in this case here, we had our male who had red-green colour blindness, and actually he's not passed that on to any of his children because a father is obviously passing on the X allele to his daughters. In this case, because mum had X big N's, she had the two normal copies. All of the girls are carriers, and none of them have red-green colour blindness. The dad, in a sex-linked condition, will always pass on the allele to his daughters. The Y he passes on to his son. It has no allele attached to it, so therefore the father can't pass on the sex-linked inheritance to his son. However, if we take a different set of parents this time, so let's have a mum that's a carrier, so X big N, X small n, and we'll have a dad that's got normal vision. So in terms of our gametes, okay, so mum's going to have two different gametes this time. She's going to have X big N and X small n, and dad's going to produce X big N and the Y. Okay, so if we look at our first generation, we'll do our Punnett square again. We're going to have X big N, X small n, X big N, and a Y. So if these two gametes meet, we're going to have X big N, X big N. So that's going to be a female who's homozygous for normal vision. We are going to have a female who is heterozygous for normal vision. So she is carrying that red-green colour blindness gene. And we are going to have a male who's normal vision. And we are going to have a male who shows red-green colour blindness. So in this case, the mum was the carrier, and therefore she has passed that allele on to her son. And in the cases of sex-linked, sons inherit that condition from their mum. Mums could be carriers, or they could be affected, and it'll just depend which allele the child gets, because this boy here, or this male here, inherited this allele, so he got normal vision, whereas this boy is going to inherit this particular allele, and therefore he is going to be affected. So always remember, when you're doing sex-linked inheritance, you must attach your alleles to your X's and your Y's, because we want to look at the ratio of offspring and we want to know whether they are male or female.